People say that money doesn't buy happiness, but I don't fully agree. I totally understand that money by itself can't bring happiness, right? Like I get that. It's actually what you do with it and how you use that tool which will determine if you can get happiness from it, right? Because having more money might allow you to spend more time with your loved ones or travel or do other things that will ultimately make you happy, that will give you time, that will give you freedom to do whatever you want whenever you want. Of course, money isn't everything, but I'd rather have the problems that come with being a millionaire than being broke, because trust, being broke is super hard. So in today's video, I'll be talking about my top 10 millionaire habits that have changed my life as well as increased my income and productivity tremendously. Just to clear things up, most millionaires didn't just inherit their money. In fact, there are studies on this, and over 85% of millionaires are considered self-made, which means they did not inherit the majority of their wealth and worked for it themselves. This means that it's possible for anyone watching this video to build wealth over their lifetime if you can mimic some of these strategies and habits that most of these financial successful people have. So smash that like button and let's get right into these habits. The first habit is writing things down every day. And this doesn't have to be like journaling. I feel like journaling has a very boring connotation to it. This is simply just to dump your thoughts and get clarity. This can be as simple as a to-do list. That's one of the things I personally write down every morning. Putting it all down will help you get clarity on your day and maximize your productivity. Do you really want to use your precious cognitive energy to constantly keep remembering what you have to do and what you have to get done the whole day? Probably not, right? It makes more sense to think about the day before you start it and then just execute, right? I can't express how much this has changed my productivity and ultimately my income as well. Like I write down everything I have to get done during the day, and this allows me to just get more done. If you want to go even deeper into writing, you can ask yourself questions such as how can I increase my income, and just put all your thoughts on paper about that. This doesn't even have to be like business or money related, right? You can just write down how you're feeling and why you're feeling that way, and that will most likely make you feel a lot better. I've done that, and last night I was just writing down all my thoughts and it made me feel so good after. Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, and countless other high net worth individuals usually carry some sort of notebook with them. This is used for their ideas, agendas, to-do lists, or whatever it might be. Any of this can be as informal and even unreadable, right? Like my list, like nobody can read it but me. So it doesn't have to be super formal. Trust, it helps. Write down whatever is on your mind. The goal here is to dump your thoughts and have them written down to just help your brain with the complex problems and tasks we face every day. The second habit, contrary to popular belief, is to prioritize sleep. Studies show that most billionaires and millionaires sleep at least 7 hours. Billionaires like Jeff Bezos and Warren Buffett try to get 8 hours a day and prioritize it, and they know a thing or two about getting wealthy, okay? I personally sleep from 6 to 7.5 hours, and it works for me, right? You'll need to find what amount is optimal for you that will allow you to be the most productive you can. It makes no sense to sleep 4 hours if you can barely get anything done when you're awake, or you spend most of your time scrolling on Instagram or on YouTube for 3 hours of the day and just wasting that time that you're awake. Most people need 7 to 8 hours of sleep to function well, so stick to what works for you. This leads into the third habit, which is waking up early. Hear me out, okay? Don't click away just yet. I get it. Everyone is different and some people are night owls, but from my research on millionaires as well as billionaires, most of them actually wake up 3 hours before the day starts. So if work starts at 8 a.m., they will be up at 5 a.m. This helps you get work done without any of your typical disruptions such as heavy traffic or a delayed meeting or something like that, right? Stuff which, believe it or not, does have a negative psychological effect on you because it can feel like you're not really in control, all right? So waking up early for most people will help you get way more done. Try waking up a few hours earlier and see if it works for you. This does not mean to get less sleep, right? You still want your 7 to 8 hours of sleep, so you won't need to sleep earlier in order to do this and utilize its benefits. Habit number 4 is positive self-talk. If you were to truly analyze your thoughts, you'd find that a lot of them are negative. Majority of people love to just on themselves and say things that they would never ever say to anyone else. A simple example of this is, say something goes wrong and then you telling yourself, why did I do that? I'm so stupid. I won't ever make $100,000. Like, would you say something like that to your friends? Think about this the next time a negative thought comes to your head and stop it right there. We can get very deep into this, but self-talk affects your confidence, your productivity, and ultimately your income, right? So everything is affected by it. One common negative phrase a lot of people use is I can't. I want you to please never ever say that again. Instead, one simple action you can start taking to better your mindset and make it more likely to get to your goals is to use the phrase, how will I blank? Okay, so how will I make 100,000 this year? Or how will I afford this house or car? Or how will I get this job? Even better is to use I will. I will make 100,000 this year. I'm not kidding. Your brain will automatically start coming up with ways to achieve your goals if you do this. Like, it's really insane, and it's worked for me as well as a lot of people that I've looked into in the past. A great podcast I recommend for helping with mindset is The Mindset Mentor by Rob Dial. It's such an amazing podcast, and I highly recommend checking it out. This is not sponsored. I listen to it almost every day. Before we move on to the fifth one, this is just a quick reminder to smash that like button. It really helps push out the video to more people, and I would greatly appreciate it. The fifth habit is to network. I'm sure you've heard that your network is your net worth, right? And I thought it was complete BS up until last year. I went to FinCon, a financial creators conference in September, and just wow, it changed my life. Like, talking to other successful people in the business world has helped my finances and income so much, and I realized that the truth is that you really are the average of the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with. If you hang out with 5 other millionaires, you will be the 6th. If you hang out with 5 overweight people, chances are you will be the 6th. Okay, so choose your friends and the people that you spend most of your time with very wisely and carefully. The 6th habit is saying no to most things. Okay, don't feel bad about saying no. You are in control of your life. If you have goals, no one is going to make them happen for you but you. All right, I'm not saying you have to be mean when saying it. You can nicely say no. For example, thanks for the invite, but I won't be able to make it. All right, you don't even have to explain yourself. Remember, your time is your most valuable asset. Be careful how you spend it. And if your friends can't respect you saying no to things and just let you focus on yourself, then they probably aren't good friends, right? So going back to the previous habit, you want to make sure to choose your friends wisely. And by saying no to these things that won't get you to your goals, you're actually saying yes to your goals. Okay, you're saying yes to that dream life in the future. There's a time to focus on your goals, and there's a time to go do other things. And if you're used to just saying yes to everything, it might be tough at first, but trust me, it will become easier over time. Okay, the 7th and the last millionaire habit, which you've probably heard again and again, is to read every day for at least 30 minutes. But don't click away just yet, because I'm going to give you a couple tips on how you can read more and just make it easier for yourself if you have a hard time sitting down with a book. I won't even go over all the amazing cognitive benefits of reading. Okay, I'm sure you already know about all of that and heard of them, so here are my tips. My first tip is for you to get a Kindle. You can buy a Kindle version of basically any book and store as many books as you want on here, okay? It's super lightweight and easier to carry around than a physical copy of a book, and whenever you have a little bit of time, you can just pull it out and read for 5 to 10 minutes. Keep doing that throughout the day and you'll be finishing books in no time. And for some reason, it's just more fun to read on the Kindle, and it's just so convenient, and it's small, easy to carry, and it doesn't strain your eyes at all. I can switch between multiple books and not have to worry about the physical copies, right? Like, if one book gets boring, I'll just easily switch. And not to mention that Kindle version books are usually cheaper, so I highly recommend looking into one. I have the Kindle Paperwhite version, which should be fine for most people, but there are other versions as well that cost more as well as less. So just look into what works for you. My second tip is to listen to audiobooks. Chances are that you have a lot of time in the day where you can listen to an audiobook. This might be when you're doing dishes, when you're driving, right? Or whenever you're doing some task that doesn't require too much focus from you. I used to do this a lot, but now I stick to my Kindle for reading and listen to podcasts when I'm at the gym or doing something similar like that. No excuses, y'all. If you can scroll on social media for hours or hop on Netflix every day, then you can get some reading in. Make sure to follow some of these tips. I'm sure they will help. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell besides it, because I post new videos every week. And if you want, go get up to $250 in free Bitcoin with my BlockFi link down below. Lastly, if you want to start investing in stocks, I made a special limited time deal with Webull for you all, so go get 3 to 4 free stocks with them by signing up with my link down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.